Welcome back to this episode of Kingsport Blog Video Update. I'm Jeff Fleming, Assistant City Manager for Development, and if you'd like to receive these on a regular basis, you can go to kingsportblogger.com. First of all, in the building permit realm for the third quarter of 2012, we had $11.4 million in total building activity. The number one permit was Wellmont remodeling at the outpatient center, about $1.7 million. Number two was First Assist Urgent Care, which is a Mountain States urgent care in Colonial Heights at a little over $1 million. The Burger King on Clinchfield Street, right across from the farmers market, has now been permitted and is under construction. Murphy Oil, beside Walmart, is now under construction at about $628,000. And then finally, also at the Press Building, East Tennessee Brain and Spine is going into Suite 103 at 444 Clinchfield Street at about $430,000. So we continue to see that redevelopment is a very big portion of what we're looking at Kingsport. On the jobs front, Sullivan County remains in the top 10 lowest unemployments in Tennessee. How does the city of Kingsport stack up? City of Kingsport is at 7.7%. East Tennessee peer benchmark cities outside the Tri-Cities, Morristown is 10.4%, Oak Ridge is 7.9%, Maryville is 7.2%, and Cleveland, Tennessee is at 9.1%, and finally Greenville at 11%. So you can see that the unemployment rate in Kingsport does compare very favorably with our peer cities in East Tennessee. Kingsport's unemployment rate went down 0.4%, while the labor force increased much more dramatically at 6.2%. So there were 1,210 additional job seekers since this time last year, but the unemployment rate still went down. So that is good news for our local economy. It means we are absorbing more employment into the economy. Also, continuing on jobs, a quick check of this morning on Indeed.com revealed that 200 available jobs were advertised in Kingsport with a $60,000 plus salary. One of the ongoing challenges that we have is making sure that local folks have the skills and expertise needed to get the available jobs locally. So that's why we started the Higher Education Initiative over the past 10 years. We've invested about $21 million into higher education and workforce development so that folks can get those skills and get those jobs. If you're sitting on the sidelines wondering how to do it, call up Northeast State at Kingsport, and they'll do a career assessment and give you a path on how to get from point A to point B. So never been a better time to do that here in Kingsport. Retail sales for the year-to-date period, retail sales remain the highest of the past 6 years. Sales have grown in a linear pattern in the past 4 years to reach the current peak. Why do we focus on retail sales? Well, aside from being an indicator of the health of the local economy, roughly 1/4 of the city budget comes from sales tax collections, and that pays for things like police, fire, schools, roads, and all of the usual city services. So always shop Kingsport first if it's at all possible. On the housing and residential front, the Move to Kingsport quarterly report, new residential construction is up 8% compared to the average of the past 6 years. This is the first time it's been a positive number in many, many months. The percent of newcomers occupying new housing is 18% this quarter compared to 5 to 8% in previous reports. Out-of-state relocation is on par for the quarter with the average of the past 6 years, so neither up nor down, but we are still seeing strong out-of-state relocation. Florida is again rivaling Virginia as our number one donor state, and it eclipses North Carolina for the first time in many months. So maybe things are turning around a little bit in Florida, and those folks can have a chance to move to Kingsport if they're so interested. States rounding out the top 10 are not neighboring states, so that's an even stronger statement of folks moving to Kingsport. Rounding out the top 10 are Ohio, Texas, California, Illinois, Maryland, Michigan, and Nevada. So you can see they're not nearby states at all. The net gain of moved to Kingsport versus moved away from Kingsport is creeping back up at plus 529 families. That's $30.4 million in annual economic impact. It had been as low as the high 400s in previous reports. So we want to keep that positive number becoming even more positive. Washington, D.C., Virginia, Maryland, and West Virginia metropolitan area passed Tampa Bay as the number one out-of-state market. Moving to Kingsport, rounding out the top 10 are Atlanta, Miami, New York, Asheville, Orlando, Charlotte, Chicago, and Virginia Beach. That's your quick update, and Again, you can look for this online at kingsportblogger.com or send me a request on Facebook.